Oh, we're live. Hello. Sorry about that. Good morning. Welcome to you all, wherever you might be around the world. It's all happening here. I've got the cat somewhere. It's been a very, very busy couple of days for me. I just moved here last Sunday to Thailand, and there's cats outside. There's people outside. The neighbours are arguing. A whole different life. Much sort of closer residentially than I used to be. I used to have quite a large garden and roads on each side of me. Now I've got some people living next door, and I've got another beach house which I'm going to be renting out, so could have any number of neighbours there. And the cat is scratching my tyres. Not sure if you're going to have much success there, Puss. Anyway, that cat hasn't met my cats yet, and Hans, I will be answering your question. I might be able to get Dina to come and say hello. Anyway, great to have you wherever you are today. Where I'm sitting, as I showed you yesterday, I'm looking out across, the Andaman Sea. And the local fishing community have got a bit of a setup out here. And we've got some boats and some nets and some bits and pieces and flotsam and jetsam. And they are waiting, I think, for the weather to improve. Now, I've had a bit of a rough week. I'll get into what happened yesterday, which leads me to this rabies vaccination card. We'll get to that in just a moment. But the start of the week, we just arrived, and pretty much the removalist had closed the doors and started their engine, and it started raining. And when I say it started raining, it was just teeming down, and it did that for 2 days. So, welcome to Phang Nga. I understand it's one of the wettest locations in Thailand, but it certainly proved itself at the start of the week. So, welcome to Phang Nga. The first 2 days literally couldn't get outside. It was so wet. That has changed, certainly, in the past couple of days. It's just been beautiful here. 30 degrees and flat seas. Indeed, we were sitting on the beach last night, dangling our toes in the water. But somebody's suggesting I need a week off. I do need a week off. I've just been at this 7 days a week for the past year, and I think actually that's about the best advice I've had. But I'm scared. I'm scared to have a few days off because, the viewers will find somewhere else to go to find their news, and that's the last thing I want. It's the greatest fear of any broadcaster, I suppose, or people that I used to do radio. Same thing. I never used to go on holidays because you go off the radio station and, the people are going to start tuning elsewhere. Maybe I could get a fill-in, but there's really no one around here that would be happy or willing to do the daily news show. It's quite a chore. A chore I thoroughly enjoy. I'm just thinking I look very pasty on the camera there, but anyway, there you go. Maybe if I turned that down a bit. I've got a bit of control over the lighting. See what happens here. Oh God, I'm not sure if that's helping or not. Makes the background brighter. Anyway, there you go. The fun we're having here this morning. We've got plenty of people here. We've got Raina from Canada. We've got Arif from Nonthaburi. Ralph from Seattle. Brett from not sure. How are the cats assimilating? If you have a look just over here, we've got rags and stuff in the way. Hang on, I'll get that out of the way. And you'll be able to see. Where are we? Number 1, number 2. There they are, Dina and Dusty. And they are sort of, assimilating, let's say. There have been a few mad escape attempts during the week. Cats, of course, have a sort of a natural GPS built into their system. And all they want to do once they're moved is get back to their home. And they have a very well-developed sort of GPS based on the world's magnetic system. I've been doing a lot of reading about this. And they sort of they want to get back to their home. And they say, given the number of YouTube videos I've been watching, that it takes them about 2 weeks to be able to sort of reset their sort of inbuilt GPS and understand that this is their new home. So we're going through that whole phase of just keeping them inside, keeping them happy, keeping them nice and unstressed. But we've had a few moments where be going out the back. I've got a backyard, let them do their toileting and stuff, and keeping an eye on them. But it doesn't take a moment, and they're up the tree and on the wall and off they go. So I've had a few mad moments where I've been crawling across the roof with the food packet, which is sort of one of those things when you shake the food packet, cat's attention, they come and get their dinner. And I've been shaking the packet and crawling across the roof going, Dusty, come on. Cats, of course, don't come when you call them. And the neighbours looking up at this lunatic crawling across the concrete roof, which I was poised to fall through at any moment, and just wondering what in earth this idiot was doing. So, it's been a little bit eventful. Yesterday was I'm a paranoid workaholic. That's pretty much it. A paranoid workaholic. Yeah, I think you've summed me up pretty well. So it was a difficult week, and yesterday was exacerbated by the fact that I got bitten by a dog. I don't think I've ever been bitten by a dog. Just back into my youth, I've had several dogs myself, but I don't think I've ever actually been bitten by a dog. But I'll talk about that in a sec. I'll just get through saying hello to everybody else. Chilled out on Lantau. Good morning from Hua Hin. Just going back a bit here. Robbie is obviously in Victoria, it seems. Hans saying hello from beautiful Redwood City in California. I actually should get the map out and have a look where Redwood City is. Hopefully you've got one of these. This is coffee, and it's from a bottle. Nescafe. I've sort of gravitated to just getting the good old grains and throwing some water in there and some milk, and I don't really seem to notice the difference. My favourite local coffee, oh, you're going to die. I love 7-Eleven coffee. 25 baht, and it's about as good as anything you can have. I know a lot of coffee aficionados are going to die hearing that, but that's just the way I feel. Now, if there's a cat outside and I could put Dina on the window, it's sort of like her cat TV, looking out the window, watching the world go by, and she'd see the cat out there, we'd have mayhem. There'd be screaming. No, I don't think we can do without that. But so I've got a brand new life. I'm living in one beach house, and next door is another beach house, which is for rent. And we've got our first guests arriving today, so that will be fun. Scared. I've never hosted people in a beach house before, but I'm not sure if they're going to want to talk to me or not want to talk to me or go and do their thing. Sure, they have plenty of questions, so I'll be happy to answer those, but that's going to be interesting. They're arriving about 2 o'clock this afternoon, driving down from Bangkok. So, our first guests. So I've put a link in the description for that guest house, the beach house, which is next door to where I live. And on the other side of me is an old shrimp farm where they used to either keep the shrimp or grow the shrimp, but hasn't been used for about 30 years. So, of course, it's got lots of great old fish smells, which is good for the cats as well. So I've got a few questions from last night. Let's have a quick look at what the papers are saying today, just out of interest. Press that button. We go to the Bangkok Post. Let's see what the main stories are here. Open mini probe sought. I'm not sure what that story is about. Premier backs vehicle supply chain. So it looks like the new government is talking up throwing some money into electric vehicles. Thailand being one of the major car manufacturers in Southeast Asia, looking to upgrade what it's providing to the market. And certainly there has been 2 or 3 Chinese companies coming into Thailand recently and setting up some factories for batteries and also building cars here in the near future. PM backs pro-tourism projects. And the Prime Minister was in Phuket and Phang Nga yesterday. We'll talk about that a bit later as well. Former gang leader charged with rapper Tupac. Okay, so that's an American story. Top US military officer. Looks like not much local stories. And Bangkok Post leaning on Reuters for some of its copy and pastes. What about the Constitution? So there is talk that they're going to be upgrading the 2017 Constitution in Thailand, and I think that will be quite controversial. And the Conservatives in the coalition will be wanting to keep what they've currently got, which favours a Conservative government in the future by loading up the Senate with hand-picked choices. That's going to be changing in March, whether they change the Constitution or not. We're going to be having elected senators, and that'll certainly change the complexion of the upper house in Thailand. US Senate Titan Dianne Feinstein dies at 90. That'll obviously be a big story in the United States. Fuel usage up 2.3%. So that's sort of the complexion of things in the Bangkok Post. Let's see what's happening in nation Thailand today. And their main headlines, new committee to... what's going on here? Need to shrink that. Can I shrink that? No, it's not going to work. Relentless rains leave many parts of Thailand's north inundated. Let's see what's happening there. And heavy rains since early Friday have flooded several areas in Thailand's northern provinces. The downpour was activated by the monsoon trough that lies across lower north and upper central and the northeast of Thailand, according to forecast by the TNT, who are not necessarily the most accurate forecasters I've found. The tourist province of Chiang Mai was lashed by heavy rain since last night, causing flash floods and water runoffs in several areas, including the famous Doi Intanon and some waterfalls. Doi Intanon, I think it's the tallest mountain in Thailand. Which other parts? Just going through that, Lampang, which is just south of Chiang Mai. So yeah, looks like the rain, the wet season is been hitting with quite a lot of intensity up in the north and northeast. If you're up in those areas, please give us a quick report about what the weather's been like. Also, I think Bangkok earlier in the week was getting plenty of rain and had its sort of usual floods. The floods in Bangkok are problematic because the sea level is rising and Bangkok is slowly sinking. I think it's at a rate 2 centimetres a year? That sounds like a lot. 2 centimetres, I can't remember, but I remember doing a few stories and they were measuring over the last 20 years and it has noticeably been sinking. So the Chao Phraya River and the Delta, they're slowly getting a little bit higher and the actual city landscape sinking because it's just built on mud, and that doesn't augur well for the future of Bangkok. Calls for the city to be moved to a slightly higher area to flood-proof the capital, but in the meantime they have to cope with some quite bad flooding even if they don't get that much rain. So an existential problem for the capital of Bangkok. So that's what we've got in the nation. What else have we got? Just trying to find some other stories. And what's it talking about? Beer brick and expensive doll turns money laundering accessory. Patongtan plans big push for OTOP products as Thai soft power. OTOP are sort of locally produced and royally endorsed produce from Thailand. What was that story? Can we go back there? No. How do I do this? By the way, the nation is not terribly easy to navigate. Just a note for the web browser people at the nation. Evergrande, the ongoing Chinese story. Evergrande downfall unlikely to result in global financial crisis, says an analyst. Of course, a lot of eyes on the Chinese economy at the moment because being the second largest economy in the world, what happens there will be have profound effects around the rest of the world. But it does, thankfully seem to be sort of stabilising in the last few months. So that's sort of the nation. What have we got? That's the Bangkok Post. Let's go to Thai PBS. And continuous rain causing increasing problems in the Taplan National Park. School management told to explain the slapping incident. We spoke about that on TNT yesterday. And hunt still on for lottery tickets bearing new PM's car number plate. So the new Prime Minister are getting a bit of a wave of popularity. Honeymoon period, of course, that any new leader usually gets. But his car number plate, not sure if it's his car or the car he's ferried around in, it's got certain numbers on it. So people are hunting around for numbers with his registration plate numbers so they can get a lucky lottery ticket. And the lottery's on tomorrow. Lottery's on usually the 1st and the 15th of each month, or it's twice a month. So, yes, the lottery sellers will be out today trying to flog their tickets. So that's sort of all that. There's not really that much news around. I'm glad it's not a TNT day because there really wouldn't be much to talk about. Let's see what you're talking about today. And Robbie's saying it's grand final day. This is for Australian rules football. Here, so pretty much the whole nation is spending the afternoon glued to the TV. Good morning from Brisbane from Daryl. I believe my team, the Magpies, Collingwood, is playing the Lions. So good luck to both teams. And I'll be watching the replay only if my team wins because I'm a really, really bad sport. Does your beautiful blue classic Benz get a good shelter nearby? This is from Alpha Bravo. Hello, Alpha Bravo. So, the blue Benz. I found two places. Okay, back up. I'm living on the beach. If I leave my car out the front of here, it's such a good opportunity for the rust to get stuck into the metal. As it is, I've got the two motorbikes parked out the front. They get a daily rinse off with water, tap water, as does the windows and the doors and the locks. They get a bit of WD-40 as well. So I'm very aware that I'm living in a coastal environment and leaving a car out the front would be a recipe for short-term disaster. So yes, I found two like little garages, and they're literally just big enough for a car. And I think they're about 400 baht a month. They're not expensive. So I'll be keeping the cars in there. But in the short term, the Benz, it's a 1983 Mercedes-Benz, so it had a few things that needed doing to it. So I sent it off to the Benz, not so much repairs, these are sort of more upgrades. The fuel gauge didn't work, so that was always fun driving it around, thinking, wonder if I've got petrol in this thing or not. So getting that fixed, it needed a new dashboard. A part of the dashboard needed a bit of fixing. My seat was a bit wonky, so they're going to fix the seat. Just little things that have sort of happened to the car over the past 40 years. So yeah, it's getting a little bit of love over the next probably 2 months. But when it comes up to Phang Nga, it will go into one of these little garages which are about a kilometre back off the beach, and they don't get that daily sort of saltwater spray. Any coastal environment, whether it be here in Phang Nga or anywhere in the world, is a problem for just about everything, for the timber, in your door sills if you've got timber, locks, anything metal is just going to corrode faster. So I do have to pay special attention. So I've got a maintenance schedule on pretty much everything that's facing that way, which is the beach. So thanks for asking. The Benz is fine. Getting a bit of love down in Phuket with Kun Lek, He's got this shop which is right on one of the busiest corners of the traffic coming from the bypass road onto Tep Kasatri Road. Sorry for people that don't know Phuket. Really busy corner, and his shops are right there. Probably very expensive real estate. He had it in his family for years, I understand. And he's always got Volvos and Audis and BMWs and new Benzes. and older classics, Bentleys. He's always got these classic cars sitting there, and he's well known for a person that fixes and looks after these old classic cars. So he used to be just 200 metres from where I used to live. Now, obviously, I've moved to Phang Nga, and he's an hour and a half away, but yeah, that's where the Benz has been. That was a very, very long answer. Good evening, north of Chicago. Hi, the Snives. Thank you for being with us. Mango sticky rice question. Here is a topic we can talk about. The strange laws that Thailand has, for instance, no commando. Yes, I'm not sure if that's more apocryphal and anecdotal than actually true, but apparently you have to wear underwear. Oh, we've got a super chat. I'll get to that in just a moment, whoever you are. Thank you very much. I don't know if that's actually true, and I certainly don't think that it's been enacted. I've never heard of anybody saying, you wouldn't believe it, but yesterday I got arrested for not wearing underpants. I mean, how will the police actually know? I'm going to have a sip of my coffee on that one. It's a beautiful sunny morning, and it's like a mill pond out there on the Andaman Sea, such that I can't really see where the Andaman Sea finishes and the sky begins. It's sort of a bit overcast there on the horizon. Way out there across the Indian Ocean would be India, I suppose. Bit of a long swim, but yeah, quite a glorious morning here. Not a knot of wind, nothing. Hampshire, Illinois is where Snives is from. Mango sticky rice. There are some strange laws in Thailand. I think that's probably a conversation with Steve. By the way, Steve Ross, with an E. Good morning, Steve. Probably watching there. You might pop down and say hello. Steve, he's got his own story, which you'll hear all about on Grumpy Old Men tomorrow. He headed off to Cambodia for 2 weeks last Monday. I drove him to the airport myself. And we said goodbye to Steve. And I thought, oh, got rid of Steve for 2 weeks. Thank heavens for that. Time lung can breathe again. But 2 days later, he turned up again. So we'll find out what happened with Steve's trip to Cambodia. But always a pleasure on Sundays to share the microphone with Steve Ross with an E. By the way, he's got some books for sale on Amazon. Great writer. Tim's in hair and makeup, almost ready. Oh, that's a bit earlier, obviously. So now the super chat. Thank you to whoever this is. Let's try and find out who it is. Josh SRI. Not sure how to pronounce that. But thank you very, very much all the way from Australia. Are you watching the football today? Do you care about the football? Maybe you're from Sydney and you're more into rugby and stuff. But Josh, thank you very, very much for your extremely kind donation. I've had a bit of a horror month regarding YouTube, by the way. Whether you know it or not, I actually make a small, very small income. Hopefully one day a larger income from YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google, and they have guidelines that you have to fit in to be monetized. Because if they're going to be offering your program, Josh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you are doing material that they don't think advertisers will want to advertise with, they're going to say, you're not going to get any money from this particular video. So 3 times this month, I think it's a record, I'm certainly in their bad books, I've been demonetized. So I've had videos that come up with a yellow sticker, that you don't get to see, that I do, saying that the advertising is limited. Pretty much, I don't get anything. Most of it has been around, and I'll be careful what I'm saying here, a particular herb that's been making the news for the past year here in Thailand after it was decriminalised. Starts with a C, ends with an S, maybe known in the past as Mary Jane or POT. I'm not going to say the word because I will probably be flagged. Now, there's not a human sitting at the other end in YouTube sort of writing down. these are bots that basically scan your channel, and they're scanning what they're hearing, and they're scanning what's on the screen. And because I put all the headlines and the words up on the screen, I've been having to blot out the C word so that YouTube doesn't get to scan it. It seems such a cat and mouse game, but the idea being that they want to offer videos that don't talk about drugs. Now, whatever you might feel about the drugs, YouTube and Google, being private companies, are well entitled to ban anything they want. It's their own company. They can do things like they want. At the end of the day, they're for profit. They want to make money. And so that's the rules that I have to play with. So this week I've had not this week. Now, yes, the last week I've had was last Sunday, Monday, and yesterday were demonetized. Yesterday I thought, I know what it was, because we were talking about some mushrooms that had a certain amount of magic involved with them that were being sold in Patong. So I thought, that story has got me demonetized. But so I went back and I took the story off and I cut that story out and then re-uploaded the story, and I was still demonetized. So some days you don't actually know what it is that's got you demonetized. It's all a bit of, as I said, a cat and mouse game. But it's been a horror week. With the moving, with the rain, with the dog biting me. I will get to the dog bite. And it's been horrible. Some more super chats. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate this. Hans, thank you. Sorry about the asparagus police. This should help. Hans, you don't have to, but it's much appreciated. And somebody else in there as well. Khmer Hydro. Thank you very much. F the AFL. I wouldn't watch it if you paid me. So not a fan of the Australian Football League. It is my favourite game in the world. I mean, I've been to many games live. I've been to the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the MCG, which holds around about 100,000 people. It's a huge stadium. And watching a good Australian rules football game at that particular venue is quite a pleasure, particularly when the people behind you are eating a meat pie and dribbles down your back. One of the great pleasures of watching football in Australia. Khmer Hydro, I'm just jumping to the assumption that you might be living in Cambodia. So did you see Steve Ross when he was there for 2 days this week? Khmer Hydro, thank you very, very much. And anybody who gets in the super chats, thank you. So let's have a talk about this. This is my... it's got my name on it. I've got to be careful there. No, it hasn't. So this is a rabies schedule that's been given to me by my doctor. Now, during the week, I went out and I bought one of these. So that's my new bike. As you do, I've got 10 kilometres of straight, flat road just out the front door here. Like flat, straight road. It's as flat as you can get, and it's as straight as you can get. And hang on, let's just shift that around a little bit. There you go. I got the bike. It's fantastic. Nice bit of morning exercise. The first day, my quads were killing me because I don't think I've been on a bicycle for about 30 years or so. And I went for a little ride. And now yesterday morning, I jumped on the bike again after I'd finished doing my program. And rather than just staying on the front road, I just went round one of the back roads, just coming back home. That was fine. Until I could see a few soy dogs in the distance. And I thought, well, I'll do the right thing. I don't want to disturb them. They're just being soy dogs and, looking after whatever they do. And so I just sort of veered off to one side of the road. But no, one dog decided it was going to chase the bike. So I'm in top gear at the moment, which is... So I was there fiddling, trying to sort of get the bike gears... I've only ridden this thing 2 or 3 times. Bring them down a bit so I could sort of pedal a bit faster and get out of there. The dog caught me, and it was chasing and barking, and I'm panicking and playing with the gears, and it went chomp on my my lower left leg. And it made a bit of a mess. So I got 3 or 4 bite marks. It, yes, did penetrate the skin. So, I mean, it wasn't that terribly painful, but I wasn't very happy about it either. Where's those cats? There they are. So, I sort of, limped back home on the bike, and the first thing I did was I went into the bathroom and I gave it a bit of a wash and a bit of disinfectant and just generally cleaned it up. It was bleeding quite heavily. And then I jumped on the internet, because that's what you do. Rabies. What are the symptoms of rabies? I didn't know whether you get it in 5 minutes or 5 weeks. I mean, everything I'd known about rabies I'd forgotten years ago. But it is a very dangerous disease. It's unlikely the soy dogs had rabies. There's a lot less rabies in dogs around Thailand these days than in the past. I've learnt all this because I read up about it yesterday. But it said get along to a doctor and you'll have to have some rabies vaccines. Oh, God. So, luckily there is a very, very, very good clinic about 500 metres away from where I live. And a delightful doctor, and I'm assuming his wife, were very attentive, very helpful, spoke great English, and they were great. And I had my first rabies vaccine. And they said, when did you have your last tetanus? I think I had my last tetanus when I was about 10 years old. About 10 years ago. And so I've got to have rabies and tetanus, 5 rabies vaccines and 3 tetanus. So I've got to go back on, that'll be Monday, for my second rabies vaccine. So today my arm, where I had the vaccines, is hurting more than my leg, which is recovering. So yeah, bitten by a dog. So I'd like to know, what is your experience with, pardon me, scratching my nose. I'll just blow my nose here. Excuse me for a moment. I'm back. Have you been bitten by a dog in Thailand? I mean, it was certainly an issue, and I don't know what's going to... what worries me about the dog is that if it does have rabies and it keeps biting other people, and one of the symptoms of rabies is aggression, and the local council probably needs to at least make sure that dog is inoculated against rabies if it is a biter. I don't want the dog put down. I don't want anything to do with the dog. I'm pretty sure it was a soy dog. But that's what happened. So, yeah, apart from all the rain at the start of the week, the cat's trying to escape, and that might be Steve going past there. It's moving into the house, being demonetised 3 times. I got bitten by a dog. Hope the dog enjoyed it. I didn't. So there you go. Let's see what you guys are talking about, because it's your hour of power. And soon BKK will be Venice, says Hans. Well, it always used to be called the Venice of the East, I think, in the past. It was full of canals. That's the way that people got around Bangkok in the early days. They slowly filled up those canals with major thoroughfares and roadways. There's a push to try and keep the canals they've got and to rehabilitate them and make sure they're kept clean and well used. But there was some talk a few years ago about the impending problem. Not next year, but in the next 20 or 30 years, it's going to become a bigger problem. And they were talking about moving the sort of metropolis, or the main commercial centre of Bangkok, to an area just north of Suvarnabhumi Airport. The name of which I can't quite remember. Lat Krabang, I think. I'm sure I've got that wrong. Anyway, I haven't really heard much more about that, but every year when particular parts of Bangkok are flooded, it comes up again in conversation, and they think, oh, we better think about it again. Chiang Mai's been hit by haze and floods this year. Yes, they get the horrible smoke haze for 3 or 4 months every year, and then, it looks like they've had some very heavy rains over the past week. There'll be new riverfront properties in Bangkok, though, says KJ. Well, that's one optimistic way of looking at it. Still very little rain in the Jomtien Pattaya area, so the rain seems to be very localised around Thailand at the moment. Roy, that's always the case. Just living in Phuket over the past 12 years, we used to be saying, I'd ring up friends, they'd be 2 kilometres away, saying it's pouring with rain here, and I'd be sitting in bright sunshine just a few kilometres away. So the tropical storm cells can be very, very local, and they can appear quite quickly and they can disappear quite quickly as well. And that's not only here in the southern part of Thailand, although the more further south you get in Thailand, the more tropical it becomes, and the more humid it becomes as well. Yes, Bangkok is sinking 1 metre per 50 years, says John. Well, that's a hell of a lot. I think it was 20 centimetres in the past 10 years. I can't remember it's not much different from what you've suggested there, John. But if you type in Bangkok sinking, global climate change and stuff, you'll read all about it. Correct, the Thai capital has already been sinking by up to 1 to 2 centimetres a year. That's from Professor Siri Supradit. Google. Mr. Mitch, thank you very much for going to the trouble to find that for us. Paul Wallace has reminded me that the lottery is the 1st and the 16th. I think I said the 1st and the 15th. Thank you for correcting me. Since Ms. Feinstein passed away, elect Katie Porter to take her place. I'm not going to be talking about American politics, but thank you very much. I never get my notification on YouTube, says Todd. I think you have to set up those notifications yourself. Sunshine is back in Phuket finally, says D. Sandy. Yes, it was pretty awful here in this part of the Andaman earlier in the week. It was a bit like that scene out of The Wizard of Oz with the tornado blowing the homestead away. I felt like I was not going to be here. Okay. Salty Air is hungry for iron, yes. And another super chat, thank you very much to Tim Scott. Hello, Tim. Thank you very much for your super chat, all the way from the United States. Very glad to catch your live show tonight from southeast South Dakota in the United States. Tim, thank you very, very much. Nice part of the world. I passed through South Dakota back in 1991. I was also visiting Tennessee. I was something to do with music. I can't remember what I was doing there, but I have been through South Dakota. Fleetingly, I think I was driving through there. But Tim, thank you very much. Appreciate your kind thoughts. Manny Jackson says, love getting on a small longboat going up and down the Klongs and canals in Bangkok. So many beautiful, cool homes and Thai architecture and orchard farms and the natural water life to see. At one stage when I was working in Bangkok, I was travelling up there to work during the week and I was coming back to Phuket on the weekends. I used to live in a hotel that I'd used to catch the water taxi to work each day. I think it was 10 baht, and that would take me about 2 or 3 kilometres down I can't remember the name of the canal, and I'd basically step off, and it was about 50 metres walk to work at Asok Towers. So that was always fun, getting onto the boat each day, and well used and supported by the locals, so they certainly enjoy travelling by the boats. Simply Jay says, convince Steve to sub for you should be a hoot. Sub, as in, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Jay, can you just expand on that? Sub. You're talking about co-hosting? Steve just doesn't want to do live for whatever reason. If he dropped in, he'd be more than welcome to share the mic, but I just don't think Jay is his thing. Jay, thank you very much. Appreciate your support. And please fill in exactly what you're talking about. Subbing. Some of these YouTube terms I don't fully understand. Thomas John Robinson says, riding bikes on a country road around Chiang Rai seems pretty safe. Plenty of dogs, but hardly any take any notice when I cycle past. Glad you mentioned Chiang Mai gets 3 or 4 months of bad air. Look, let's hope the new government will start to do something. It's going to be a bit of a generational change to the farming habits in the area, but it's also the problems in nearby Laos and Myanmar with their farming habits as well. So they're not going to be able to solve this just in one season, but I think the new government's going to be trying to do something fairly tangible over this next season. The San Sap Canal, thank you very much, Mark. You're quite correct. San Sap, I think that's the way you say it. KJ, to substitute for you while you take a short break. I don't think news is Steve's thing. I mean, I do a daily news show, and I just don't think that Steve wants to be digging deep into the news. It's just not his thing. He's retired anyway. He doesn't want to be working every day, getting up at 6. He gets up early in the morning anyway. But no, Steve, he's not a news guy. He used to be a news guy, but those days are in the past. Where are the radios? Good point. They're next door. They're on display in Beach House number 1. Beach House number 1 and Beach House number 2. Beach House number 1 is called Bonneville for a reason that will become very apparent when you walk in the front door. And this beach house is named Coral Cottage. But I'm living in this one. At some stage, this will also be rented out as well. But I've got to find a third home. And there's not that many properties for rent around Tai Muang. And heavens knows, I've been looking around for about 3 months. I haven't found many. What have you booked to see at the Thailand Cultural Centre? Okay, Michael, good question. Next Thursday, I'm flying to Bangkok, spending Thursday and most of Friday in Bangkok, flying up in the morning, catching up with friends, and then on Thursday night, I'm seeing West Side Story. It's a production from the United States, and it's going to be running, I think, for 3 days, 2 performances each day, and really looking forward to it. To see some good Western theatre, get my sort of theatre fix, is something I look forward to. The last show I went to see was good 10 years ago when they had a production of Phantom of the Opera visiting Bangkok. That was really top notch. So I'm hoping this production of West Side Story is equally good. I think they've also got a production of Swan Lake, Puccini's Aida, Puccini, Verdi. Sorry, one of those Italian composers. Anyway, Aida's also being performed. They've got quite some really good productions on their international theatre festival or something, or international music festival. So yes, I'm heading up on Thursday to Bangkok. I'm sure I'll do a story about it. TNT will be coming from Bangkok for at least that day. With Steve, I'm pretty sure every story will come with a lot of context, and I mean a lot. Yes, Steve probably won't so much read the news. He'll discuss his version of what he thinks about it, which is fine. Yeah, I enjoy doing the program. I'm probably not going to be taking a week off. Brett, for the cats again. Do you want to see where are the cats? There's Dusty. I don't know where Dina is. Dina the diva. Dusty's just over there sitting under the table. If they were here, I'd sort of show you, but it's a bit rude of me to walk away from the microphone. But the cats are fine. Thank you very much, Brett, for your kind support. I need the modern convenience of a larger city nearby. Maybe that could change if I built a house on a large piece of land, says Mr. Mitch. Okay. What else we got? They shot those rabies shots into the dog bites. They hurt like hell. No, I think rabies vaccinations have improved a lot. I just got them in the arm. If they went anywhere near those bites, I think I would have been screaming too. So yes, I don't think I think the rabies vaccines have improved quite a lot. After COVID, let us dry on the beach. We welcome rabies, says Tom. Okay, thanks, Tom. Mark says, Alpha Brett Jim, I'm currently in a sea view condo near the Big Buddha in Pattaya, waiting until November the 10th when I move into an amazing pool villa in Huai Hai, 3-bedroom, 3 bar. Good luck to you and your move. The dogs hate ultrasonic peepers. Cost just 200 baht and a 9-volt block. Okay, so I'm going to have to carry a stick. Not that I'd hit the dog, but I'd certainly threaten it if it was running at me again in the future. Everybody around here sounds very surprised by me being bitten by a dog. So obviously it's not a thing that happens often here, but I'll certainly be doing my best to try and avoid being bitten in the future. Thank you very much to Wayne Duncan. Thank you, all the way from Canada, I see. And Wayne's got a message here. Hi, Tim, love your show. We will be in Phuket for a couple of weeks on November the 15th and then off to Nong Khai for 4 months. Pineapples from last year should be ready to harvest. Yes, Phuket's still a place where they grow pineapples. Pretty much, apart from pineapple and rubber trees, they're about the only crops that they have in Phuket. Always a lot of talk about Phuket diversifying from just most 95% tourism to some other forms of income. But it looks like the government's going to be throwing quite a lot of money at Phuket in the future for infrastructure in regards to roads, because the tourism has got to the stage where just getting from one part of the island to another has become a nightmare, and the infrastructure certainly hasn't kept up with the rising number of tourists. And one of the big projects that's been announced over the past couple of weeks and was really confirmed yesterday is the building of a new airport just north of Phuket, just in the sort of the hinterland of Koh Loi. So to come from Phuket, you come through Koh Loi on your way to Turtle Beach. So Koh Loi is about 10-15 minutes from here, and just about between Koh Loi and the Phang Nga township, they're going to be building the new Andaman International Airport to take the pressure off the Phuket International Airport, because since it was built, I don't know, back in the early 80s or 90s, the Phuket airport, I mean, the whole community has sort of basically moved in around the airport, providing taxi services, providing shops, 7-Elevens. So they've got the runway, they've lengthened the runway a few times, and it will take quite big planes. So the runway is not the problem. Certainly isn't room for a second runway. But the problem is they've got no more room for terminals or car parking. So they're sort of hemmed in where they are. And stop looking at my car. So it is quite a problem. So they really can't enlarge the Phuket International Airport. So that's where it's going to be, that they're going to be building this new Andaman International Airport about 15 minutes north of the Saracen Bridge at the top of the island. The Saracen Bridge is the 300-metre bridge that links Phuket to the mainland of Thailand and to the province of Phang Nga. So they're saying it's going to cost some 70 billion baht, and the Prime Minister wants it finished by 2027. That's only 4 years away. Not a hope in hell. But at some stage, be convenient to have international airport just close by my back door. Of course, I organised the whole thing. So interesting, the Prime Minister here in Phang Nga and Phuket yesterday announcing that these new road projects and the new international airport. Chris K says, "Hey Tim, love the show, always very informative. For all expats, keep up the good work. P.S. would love to see your sea view at some point." Look, I'd turn the camera around, but I've got my car sitting right in front of the view at the moment. If you have a look at the start of yesterday's program, I think it was the start, I've got a bit of a sea view. So if you have a look at the start of yesterday's TNT, you'll see the sea view. And in coming weeks, I'll sort of get myself sorted out so that I can easily show you the alternative view, or I can record and then show it on my stream here. New place for the famous taxi drivers to hang out, says Thai Nor's Times. If you like, I come to visit for a barbecue party. Will the Phuket airport be closed and turned into condos? No, I'm pretty sure they'll keep the Phuket airport open. Probably more for domestic flights in the future, and maybe the new Andaman International Airport being built for larger planes, and it'll be purpose built as an international airport to take large planes. And so I think we might see in the future Phuket Airport relegated to being a little bit more provincial, taking local flights, and then the new big airport, just 15 minutes over the bridge, will take the international flights. I think that's the way we're going to see things in the next 10 to 20 years. Let's see. Daryl, thank you very much for your kind support. Really appreciate you getting behind the program. Look, I'm here every Saturday morning. I'm sort of at your service. If you've got a question, I'll do my best to answer it. I might get it wrong, but the thing is, we've got hundreds of other people here who know about Thailand, live in different parts of Thailand. They'll correct me, or they'll be able to provide an answer. So this is a good resource. We can get together and throw about different thoughts, share our feelings on things, and also answer questions. Now, in the next couple of weeks, I'm trying to get some experts to join us on the program to talk about various things, things regarding visas, things regarding insurance. I know topics that people are always asking questions about, but as I said, I've got to get my technology sorted out, have to go and buy a few more toys so I can get people online and share all that with you. Jerry and Jennifer, hello to you. Hello from Florida. Tropical as well. We will be in Nyang Beach, just north in Phuket. December the 3rd for a few days. Would like to drive up to your area to check the availability of beach houses available for long-term rental spring of 2024. Not sure if I've got... we can talk. We can talk. How about that? So Jerry and Jennifer, look forward to you passing by, dropping in, saying hello. And I'm not sure if the beach house is going to be available long term, but I'll talk about any opportunities. Got about 7 or 8 bookings so far. As I said earlier, we've got our first booking arriving today. But anyway, good luck with your travels, Jerry and Jennifer. Say no to WW3. It's good sentiment. Very cool that you moved next to Steve. I'm not next to Steve. He's about 300 metres that way. You two could totally have a sleepover and play Nintendo all night. No, it won't be happening. Chayapum is isolated as there's no airport close by, which is why it has little tourism, if any at all. The locals have stage shows in their bars, and we recently got a mall for shopping. This is from Smelly Sumtom. I think you need to change your name. So this is Chayapum. So good luck to you. Sounds like a nice quiet life up there. Congratulations on your first shopping mall. Hi, Tim from Vancouver, Canada. This is from Raphael Payon. William Hartz has chimed in, says, carry a water pistol full of vinegar to discourage the dog attacking you. Yeah, the problem is there's nowhere to really keep it on the bike. I think they look a bit naff, the basket hanging out the front, but I think it's also very practical. and I can keep a water pistol in there and perhaps carry the shopping back. But I just picked up the bike on Wednesday, and I've only been on it 2 or 3 times, and I won't be on it for 2 or 3 days, just whilst my leg just sort of settles down a bit. Income tax will be free until limit of 150,000 baht a month, if I'm right, says Alpha Bravo. Don't have the details with the Thai tax situation. I noticed that a tax or a proposed tax on share trading has been dropped. So I'm not sure if that's going to be happening with the proposed tax on income coming into Thailand from overseas. We need to wait until we hear the details before we can really discuss that anymore. James, thank you very much for your super chat, and good morning to you from San Diego in California. Been down there, been to the planetarium, I've sailed down there, been to an America's Cup there. I know San Diego. Looking forward to my yoga-focused trip to Chiang Mai mid-November through to February the 2nd. That's a lot of yoga, but good luck in your travels, James, and thank you very much for your support, and good luck to you all the way from San Diego there in California, Southern California from memory. Bayou Tom on the loose again. Fairies, perk. No ideas what you're talking about there. Again, the messages and the conversation sort of gets a life of its own. Tim, just get a shotgun. Dogs won't mess with you. VK Travelog. Well, I'm not into harming or hurting animals, and the dog was just doing what a dog does, and I certainly didn't do anything to provoke it, and I don't want that dog to be biting anybody else. But it's and as I said, I'm pretty sure it's a soy dog and it doesn't have an owner. But I'll probably just drive in my car past the area in the next couple of days, see if the dog's there, see if the neighbours know anything about the dog, and seeing if it does have an owner, whether they can encourage the dog to stay inside the confines of the yard. Fat chance. Evil twin, in 5 years my condo 2 blocks from the ocean will be worth millions. So this is talking about the flooding in Bangkok, I'm assuming. Manny Jackson's back as well. Tim, you are so respectful and courteous. You will not lose any fanfare if you take a week or 2 vacation. Yes, I will. So chill out and do so, mate. Peace up. No, I know if I just take 2 days off, I would lose audience. And at the moment, my audience is slowly growing. It would be the death of me to take a few days off. So I've just got to, and the news doesn't take a break. So I can't really take a break either. It's just one of those things. I've started the channel and I've got to continue doing it. Bit of a noose around my neck, but it's a job I happily do, and I'm not really sure how I can get around it. Anyone who has not encountered Smelly Sometime has not been in deeper inland Thailand. Oh, I see. So this is a local dish. Good luck to you. Roy Goad says Bangkok Airways is the reason flights to Koh Samui are more expensive. They have a sole right to flights there. Roy, where have you been for the past 20 years? Yes, that's something we comment on regularly. They've had a monopoly, well, they own the Samui airport, and their monopoly is the biggest problem for Samui going forward. A lot of the locals like the sort of the monopoly-induced isolation they have there, but at the same time, it also stops the growth of tourism, and whether the proposed bridge right across the Gulf of Thailand, I think some 28 kilometres or something, whether that goes ahead or not, we don't know yet. I don't think it's been fully approved by the new cabinet. But Bangkok Airways, the flights into Samui, I think they say they make 60% of their income. It can't possibly be right, from the flights to Samui, but they certainly charge a lot for those flights, and it's an ongoing problem for people in Samui. Uncle Tom says, dog problem, stop pedaling as you go by, Tim. Try that. Helps on my dog. Stop pedaling as you go by. I'm not sure how I can ride my bike past dogs and stop pedaling. If I stop pedaling, I'll stop. You mean get off the bike and walk past? Maybe. Somebody said you should have stopped the bike and just turned around and confronted the dogs rather than just trying to go faster, which gave the dogs more reason to chase me, or I suppose. You should hire Forrest Lee to fill in for a couple of days. Everyone enjoys Forrest, says the Snives. Well, again, Forrest, great guy. I enjoy Forrest's company. Done a few vlogs with him. The problem is Forrest doesn't do news. And you've got to be a bit of a news hound, and you've got to be a bit of a newsie to do a news program. So there you go. It's called coasting. Oh, I see. Get a bit of speed up and then quietly just go past, so they're not seeing those legs spinning around something that looks nice to chew on. Good morning, Tim, says Teddy Bear. You've arrived a bit late. Not a fan of Forrest, says James. Too much of a know-it-all. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Every single YouTuber has got people that like them and people that don't like them. Some people love grumpy old men. Plenty of people hate it. So people like watching TNT. Other people can't stand me. So that's just the way of the world. I'm not here to appeal to everybody. I'm here to try and do a good program every day and be reliable and be consistent. That's about all I can do. Can't change my personality or my presentation style very much. I could wear better or worse shirts. I could put a toupee on. I could put red lipstick on. But at the end of the day, it's not a good idea. My presentation style is not going to change much because this is all I know how to do. Good morning, Tim. How are you enjoying the new place? Says Jay Easy. I will. I'm absolutely sure really enjoy living here. I've enjoyed a few quiet moments here already, especially last night sitting on the beach, but it's been pretty busy, and until the last couple of days the weather's been not very good. So I'm pretty sure I am going to be enjoying it. It's going to be fun having our first guests here today, seeing the way that they enjoy the area and seeing Thai Muang through their eyes, their first visit to the area. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a great part of my life. Just don't go commando and put on some pants. Maybe. Bronson says, oh my God, I missed 60 minutes of live stream again. Is this the new starting time for every live stream, says Bronson. No, I'm going to jiggle it around. It just so happens today I have to go to Phuket to hand over the keys to the owner of the house. I've got to meet the gardener. I'm taking the water pressure hose with me, so I'll be water pressuring all the concrete areas out the front, making sure the place looks tickety-boo. There's new tenants moving in there over the next week. So the last trip down to Phuket, as far as the house is concerned, I'll probably be heading back to Phuket each week to go to Macro, do my weekly shopping. There are some things I can't buy here in Thai Muang. Certain cereals, different things, pasta. Been finding it hard to buy pasta in the area. So yeah, I'll be going to Macro each week and doing a sort of a buy up certain fruits that I enjoy that I can't get up here. Then again, I've also got to investigate the area more here to find out what I can buy here. My shopping here has been fairly limited so far. So this is all part of the discovering my new home and the local environs. Forrest is more of an expat coach, says Smelly Sumtom. A lot of us American service vets and many other country vets here in Thailand. Yes, Forrest did serve with the United States Army, so he's got some interesting stories about that, and good luck to Forrest wherever you are at the moment. Haven't spoken to you for a few months. Brett Border, you bet. Ralph Lewis says that was in response to you mentioning the shirts that you wear. I'm a bit lost. The update jingle was fantastic, says Alpha Bravo. That was just a one-day thing. People lost their mind over the fact that we'd thrown in a slightly different and rather off-the-wall component to the program. Better finish my increasingly cold coffee. You made my morning news fix. Thank you very much. Okay, that's about it. Had to learn how to prepare spaghetti carbonara for my Mekong Pearl. Carbonara is pretty easy. I cooked up some spaghetti this week in the kitchen, and that was an interesting experience. Just getting, where's the pots? Where's this? Where's that? The whole week I've been spending saying, where is everything? Because everything is sort of in boxes, and I've been digging through the boxes, and the place is pretty much sorted out now. But that's the worst part, unpacking and trying to find things. Tim, do you know why a flight ticket costs double from Chiang Mai to Koh Samui compared to Bangkok to Denpasar? Well, again, this is the problem with anything to do with Bangkok Airways flying into Samui. It's complete price gouging. They have a monopoly, they own the airport, and they will take every red cent they can. It's a profit centre for them. They know it, everybody else knows it. And yes, you can fly a lot further internationally than flying just domestically into Koh Samui with Bangkok Airways. It's just one of the problems that Koh Samui has to cope with. People have suggested, well, maybe the AOT, the Airports of Thailand, should build an airport in Samui, and so they can let other airlines fly in there. That would get rid of the monopoly. Nothing's happened in regards to that. I think it's really up to Bangkok Airways to negotiate with other airlines and see if they can do something about allowing them to fly in there. But of course, it's their golden goose. That's where they're making so much money, and that's the situation. And with that, I think it's time to... I've got plenty to do, so we might just do a couple more comments. Back on the dog, says Steve. A couple of biscuits may encourage them to chase something else. I think once the dog is in chase-bite mode, there's not much you can do to sort of diffuse the situation. At the time, I was in just ride as fast as you can to get out of there, but the dog, as I kept on going faster, the dog kept going faster as well. So it's all very well to say I should have done this or I should have done that, but as I said, I haven't been chased or bitten by a dog, I don't think, ever in my life. And I was just trying the hell to get out of there. Didn't work. Phang Nga Airport is a proposed airport in Phang Nga Province, says Mr. Mitch. The airport was proposed by Bangkok Airways in 2016 as the Phang Nga Andaman International Airport. It's not being called the Phang Nga Airport. In the news reports, they're calling it the Andaman International Airport. There was talk that Bangkok Airways was saying they'd be interested to talk to the government about running the airport. I would certainly not support that. I think we want Airports of Airports of Thailand running it. We don't want Bangkok Airways running that airport. We don't want a monopoly running any other airports, because we've seen the problems that a monopoly has caused the island of Samui, and we don't want to have that problem, even though there's a lot of other ways you can get to Phang Nga. But I'm pretty sure you won't see Bangkok Airways funding the airport in Phang Nga, which is going to be called the Andaman International Airport. Drop a bag of marbles. Again, it all happened within seconds, and there wasn't a lot of time to think, I'm being chased by a dog. Now, maybe I should have brought a bag of marbles, or I should have some biscuits, or a water spray with vinegar, or maybe I should just stop and turn around and confront the dog. I just didn't have time for that. But thank you for all the more suggestions. Bring a stun gun. That will scare all the dogs. As I said, I don't want to hurt the dog. I don't want to harm the dog. The dog's just doing what a dog does. It's just we've got to try and make sure that dog doesn't do it to other people in the future. I think everyone deserves a break. Your subscribers will wait for you, says Anna M. Look, I appreciate the sentiment, but in reality, that's just not what happens. And there's plenty of other people doing good news programs every day here in Thailand. I want to try and be the best. I want to try and be consistent, and I want to be reliable. And if I take a break, that's not going to happen. What I can do is have a break, but just do my 2 or 3 hours in the morning doing my program and then having the rest of the day off. That's certainly an option. And maybe that's a little bit of what I'll be doing up here. Spending a bit of time on the beach, trying to take a bit of a break. Manny Jackson, that's news to me. It's more expensive to fly domestically in Thailand than to Bali. I fly that route a lot since I live in Bali, but that's quite a rip-off. Well, I think the point is that to fly like Bangkok to Samui can cost the same as you can get flights to Bangkok to Singapore, or Bangkok to even Bali, or Bangkok to Ho Chi Minh City. So you can fly internationally cheaper than that flight from Bangkok to Samui, which can be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 baht, where you could fly all the way from Bangkok to Phuket, which is a further distance, for sometimes 1,000 baht, which is a lot cheaper. So generally, I've found those Bangkok to Samui flights 3 to 4 times the cost of other domestic flights, just as a rough comparison. Wear a Fu Manchu wig, beard and a mustache might scare the dogs away. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Thomas John Robinson, I had 2 connecting flights on Bangkok Airways, cancelled at short notice. No apology, but they code share with airlines and can't have it both ways, in my opinion. Haven't used them for 7 years and won't. Thank you, Thomas, for that. When I did all my flights up to Bangkok, I was flying from Phuket to Bangkok every week, up and back. I did 123 flights over just over a year. And I flew, except for one flight, which was with Thai Smile, all the other flights were with Thai Vietjet, and I had very good experience with them. I know everybody's going to have a bad experience with all airlines at one stage or another. I had one late flight, which was more than 3 hours late in that whole over 12-month period. And they looked after me very well. I haven't flown Bangkok Airways. I think I've flown with them once over 12 years here in Thailand. I need to go and have some breakfast and have a break, and I've got to head off to Phuket today. But I've thoroughly enjoyed spending the last hour with you, going through all sorts of topics without anything in particular in mind. Dina's just down here. I'll just go and grab her. Come and say hello. Yes, come and say hello. Come and say hello to everybody. So this is Adina, who's the diva of the 2 cats, and doesn't really want to be saying, what are you going to be doing? I know you don't really... Okay, well, I'll put you over there then, all right. So anyway, the cats are fine. There's a cushion right next to the camera which allows her to sit and look out the window. We call it the cat TV. She loves it. And just looking out the window, watching... So Tina's going to watch the cat TV. Dusty's going to try and climb a tree out the back, I'm sure. I'm going to be heading off to Phuket. You've got things to do. Good luck to the Magpies today. Steve and I on Grumpy Old Men tomorrow. It's uploaded at 8 a.m. Thai time. And hi, Kimmo. Good to see you. And otherwise, have a fantastic weekend. Look forward to seeing you all on TNT next week. But from Thailand in Phang Nga province, thanks for dropping in, and I'll see you soon.